So welcome back to the channel. Today I got some Flowtech exhaust headers in off Amazon, but they ship from Jegs. So you can definitely get these from Jegs. They're up and forward facing headers with 3-inch collectors on them with the V-bands already installed. And I'm hopefully going to get them put on my C4 Corvette with hopefully a little modification on the header side or my Corvette side. We'll see what needs to be modified. I'll get you guys down here and we'll take a look at it. I was pretty hesitant to use these just because they're pretty bulky. They're not like the log style manifolds you can get for like the F bodies or anything, but with these I think I can get away with modifying them less to get them to work for what I need. So one thing that's not gonna work for me is that they have these weird gaskets. I forget what they're called, but they're basically, they compress and kind of squish and they're one-time use only. So I'm gonna probably use these for mock-up and stuff, but I'm gonna get some MLS multi-layered steel gaskets for that. Get my other V-bands. Comes with the second half of the V-band for the other side, for like the hot side that goes to the turbo. I did read that those were pretty cheap units. They don't look super fancy, but here, I'll open them up and I'll give you a look, see what they come with. You remember these things were like $200, so kind of get what you pay for. I read that the actual manifolds were decent quality, but these kind of sucked. But the manifolds do have their issues, and we'll look at those in a minute. Ooh, yeah, these are, I don't even know if I want to use these. These are like very, very janky, cheap, just stamped steel, like thin stamped steel. V-band's probably fine, or whatever this is, the side, the flange. Looks pretty straight, but I don't have a flat surface to check it right now. Alright, manifold number 1. Alright guys, so first thing you want to do is you want to look to make sure there's no pinholes around the welds. So what you can do is look right down the center there and shine the light in, see if you see any light coming through these welds where the collector comes together. I don't know if you can see that at all, but I couldn't find any pinholes. I even shined it in the end here and looked around, turned off the lights, and I couldn't find any leaks. Get you guys up here, kind of get a close up of these welds. They're not horrible. These ones are pretty good. I mean, I'm not really an expert at judging welds. It looks a little boogered, but I mean, it's fine. You got a little badge there. It's kind of neat, but it's getting covered with probably some type of wrap anyways. Nice thick flange. But we'll get this other one taken out of the box, and hopefully it's in as good a shape as this passenger one. Okay. Welds look the same. I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's definitely TIG welded, I believe. Yeah, TIG welded. It's supposedly stainless. I thought it would be a little shinier, like a lot of the stainless pipe I get and stuff, but I think this was T309 or 308, which is different, I think, than the 304 that I'm used to seeing, or maybe this just isn't polished. You guys probably know. But shine the light in here. See if we can find anything. Any leaks that are obvious. I don't see any. But here, I'll shine the light in there just to kind of get a good idea about what it looks like in there. So you got a little cone in there. That's probably just makes it easier to weld and seal maybe, or helps the exhaust gases flow into each other. I'm not sure. But as you can see, not sure if you can see actually, but I'll shine the light around. You can't really see any pinholes in there. I did see that in the reviews, so that's one thing I wanted to check. Some guy had to fill in a pinhole. But essentially, these things are going to get mounted under the hood like that. Probably be leaned in towards each other a little bit, or away from each other with the angle of the heads. And then my pipes are going to come. I'm not sure if you can see this, but my pipes are going to both come. I have 90s coming in, and they're going to meet the turbo in the middle. I might have to come off this and come up a little bit. I'll get it in the car and I'll show you in a minute. And yeah, hopefully that'll be good. I'm not gonna, a lot of people weld wastegates onto here, like cut holes and weld the wastegate flanges and whatnot. I won't have to do that because I actually have a 50mm wastegate on the turbo housing itself on the exhaust side. But I'll go bring you to the garage, bring these, turn on the heater, and we'll see you in a couple minutes. Alright guys, we're out here. We have the heater on. It's still going to be really cold. Sorry about this weird angle. I don't have very many things to put the small tripod that I have on to hold the GoPro, but I will I'll go ahead and I'll order up a taller tripod tonight just so I can get you guys up in here, get you some better angles without me having to hold the camera. But anyways, let's jump right into it. This one obviously goes on the left, because if it was on the right side, it would go backwards or down. So let's get this thing on. First things first, I got a bunch of zip ties holding the spark plug wires out of the way of the exhaust. I'll show you those actually real quick in case any of you guys are having issues. Whoop. In case any of you guys are having issues with plug wires burning on the exhaust, I basically went around here, pretty janky, but it's a super cheap way to pull your plug wires in and hug the engine, because as long as they're not touching right on the cast manifolds or whatever, like these manifolds, you know, as long as they're not touching those directly, they won't melt. From what I found, they won't burn up or anything. But I'm just gonna snip these all off. That last one, actually, I don't need one. And we'll go ahead and get these out of the way for you. Put those in safe storage. Okay. Alright, so this thing, gotta come up here, and bam, we'll have some up and forward headers. Oh, that actually tucks really nicely. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, let me get you guys a different angle, and I'll show you what I'm working with. Again, I apologize for the crappy angle, but let me go ahead and grab one of these manifold gaskets. This thing's gonna be in the way. I'll get you in there. I'll show you my turbo placement ideas and stuff, and how I'm gonna mount the radiator in a minute. But I'm just too excited to get this side on and kind of see where it sits. So I know one of these should be a manifold side, maybe, probably not. Alright, so it's gonna work like that. We'll start off with one of these bolts, probably middle one. I'm not gonna lie, up until this point, I was really concerned that these might not be the right size. Maybe they were gonna be a lot bigger or have some other issues. But now that they're starting to get set in there, this side, you know, it's looking pretty good. I think I can work with it. Even though I'm just mocking this up, I want to make sure I get all these exhaust bolts on there, the flange bolts, because I don't want to tighten anything up and then realize that I can't get any bolts in, especially if I get some stuff in here, weld it, get it all mounted up. There'll be a lot more like fabrication in the next video when the next parts come in. And I go grab my schlong. This is a schlong, if nobody's seen it yet. It says S-long. I don't know, some Chinese electric ratchet. I like them. My buddy bought me this for my birthday a while back, and it was great. I think it was my birthday. It might have been Christmas. I think it was my birthday. You can fact check that for me, Tyler. I'll do a 10mm, and we'll get these zipped in. Oh, that's exciting. I'm almost done. No, I'm just kidding. Not at all. All right, so here's what the passenger side looks like. Like I said, it's a lot further away from the block than the other ones. This exhaust came up before, wrapped around, and went right above this manifold. Well, the other manifold that I have that's sitting on the ground over there. And it was able to come straight up here, 4-inch exhaust, and then boop, right duck down into there. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm only pushing, right now is 541 wheel horsepower at 10 PSI out of this turbo. I'm gonna up it probably to 15 to 17 PSI at least. I'm projecting, all said and done, I could see 650 to 700 horsepower. So 700 is probably my max. I mean, this thing is wild on the streets at 12 PSI, probably a little shy of 600 horse at the wheels. And I'll get it on the dyno. We'll verify some numbers when I'm done this. So, but you can use you should be fine necking this down to a 3-inch. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go from a 4-inch to a 3-inch. It's gonna have to come up and around here. And remember, this is getting a direct 90 right off it, just like the other side, and they're gonna meet into this flange. And I have a nice flange coming in the mail. You'll see that later, probably next week. And this is gonna come up and come around, and it's gonna go right beside this one. I gotta get rid of this, and it's gonna kind of come down and right down into this hole. It's gonna be a lot tighter. I don't think my exhaust would fit down there, but you know what? Let's just find out. No more guesswork. So this mess over here has my exhaust. Look at these welds. Woo! Those welds. I can't believe those have not exploded. Alright, as you can see, there is not room for this 4-inch exhaust. but I guarantee you there's room for 3-inch exhaust. All right, so I thought this was a 3-inch exhaust, stainless exhaust piece, but let's find out. We got Stanley over here. Check this out. All right, this is 3.5. 3.5. But I guarantee you this will even fit better than that 4-inch did. Oh yeah. So I mean, that's about as much room as I had before with the other exhaust. And as it heated up, it would everything would flex and move and start rubbing on one another, and then I'd get a rattle. It honestly was a massive pain in the butt. So let me grab something that I know is 3-inch. Okay, I say I know, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 inches. I'll measure it. And this is some intake pipe I had laying around, aluminum intake pipe. A Stanley. Okay, so this is 3-inch. This is intake pipe. But if I can come down to here and still get, you know, 6 to 7, you know, 650, I'd be real happy. And look, there's gobs of room right there. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but you know, you get that angles, the angles in right. Follow this, kind of glide right in here below this, right kind of below and beside this primary, especially when this is all hacked away. You know, this will basically come in right here, through, snake down in, and then I'm gonna do dual exhausts again. I have that single freaking blast pipe at the back. It's not even that loud because I have the exhaust that's on it. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this exhaust, sell it, maybe get another one. It's hard to see, but I have one exhaust just sticking out one side that clearly says this thing has some work done to it, probably an LS turbo swap, so it's not really inconspicuous. So I want to get like stock looking exhaust back there for it. So let me get this one off, get the other one on, and we'll see what collides, because this is gonna be tight. It's probably gonna hit, but I get a way around that off of a member on Facebook, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit. Alright guys, time to try to get this side on. I don't think it's gonna go on. Doesn't sound like it's gonna want to go on. Ooh, that's very close. So close that it might not actually touch these lines. But I don't know until I get a gasket on it and get the bolts in. I haven't cinched this down completely, but I'll give you a look here. Oh man, there's so much more room down here. I actually have a little space down here to get my power steering fluid cap off. Like this is gonna be nice. A lot more room around here for heat to come up away from these headers, and I just feel like the old setup was just so packed in here up against the block, which is good, but also I feel like the exhaust was, you know, heating the heads. But anywho, we'll you can see right here it does hit. This header is pretty much sitting where it's gonna sit because that bolt's a little snug, and it's just barely touching this. I don't know, there's a couple things that I might do. One is come off this with a 90-degree fitting and go down, and then have this, manipulate this so it comes up so it doesn't go straight into this. this side's pretty close, so I could do the same with that, but it's not touching, but it's really close. It's definitely too close, to be honest, to your brake lines. You don't want to gamble with that. So the other option, which I guess I'm gonna have to go with, is, I was told, I think it's a 2001 Bonneville, or I'll double check, I'll put it down in the description, but I think it was like a 2001 Bonneville or something, had like the same master cylinder, or you know, the same bolt pattern here, where it would bolt up and these lines came out the other side. So then you're gonna have to either run these out to this side or make some new lines or do something there. I think what I'd do, there's not too much extra slack in the lines. I'd probably do an adapter like the other guy did, and have tucked these down just so they are down out of the way, and have the adapter, you know, just basically a male-to-male adapter come up, and then a little extra line right into here. The other one does have a single reservoir. I don't think that matters, but that's probably what I'm gonna do. My little, I don't know, my brake light or something's not in. I don't know exactly what this is, but I'm gonna go ahead, remove these lines, and finish mocking up the exhaust. All right, well, I got the master cylinder off. I got this all cinched up. She's looking pretty good. Plenty of room around here. Yeah, as you can see, it comes pretty close to these coils, but I think my plug wire I can manipulate to go around and avoid it. Probably with some more zip ties. I'll give you a kind of a front view. Does look like that one's a little lower. Not sure if it's designed that way. I'm sure it probably is. I don't know. But you know, also could just be my head being a little off. But they look pretty good. So I'll run you through the idea real quick, and this will be stuff that I get started on next week. This will be on next week's video. 90 off here, you know, right off here, come up, it's gonna go into a flange right here, same with there, it's gonna 90 off and come into here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to do anything with this as far as bring the pipe up to get like a certain height or whatnot. So I still gotta keep this stuff compact. This radiator was directly up and down. It doesn't look like it made much room, but there's quite a bit of room down here now for a larger intercooler. So I can get rid of this little tiny thing over here. It's literally like a 12 by 12 or 12 by 13. You know, that sucker heat soaks fast. If I want to get a big one in there, I gotta trim this up, kind of get this bulky stuff out of the way. I want to mount the intercooler, the new intercooler, to the radiator, and then mount the radiator over here. You can see my leftover rivets where I had another mount over there riveted. But I want to do a better quality setup. So if any of you guys that are watching this can direct me on how to mount this radiator to these bars going across, that'd be great. I know I can probably weld some, maybe, I don't know, I mean, there should have like some clamps I can clamp around here that, you know, top and bottom, that have like rubber push-ins so I don't like, you know, dent it or whatever, poke a hole through it. Or should I mount it to the bottom on this? I don't know. What I'm saying is I just don't know. The way I did it before was janky, and I'm not going to show you guys how I did it. But this, believe it or not, actually has more room right here behind these fans than the old setup. The old setup, this radiator was completely vertical, and this was stuffed down another probably 4 inches. So I'm trying to get, you know, just some more space here so some air can come through here. And the reason why I raked this down is because the bumper comes to about here, or, you know, like everything, the crash bar and stuff. And now with this raked back, there's more than like 2 inches, so hopefully air with an air dam can come up and in and cool this thing a little better while I'm cruising. The temps would hang around a little high. So basically I had a 160 thermostat in it. The fans kicked on at 175. It would go to 175, fans would kick on, 176, 177, 178, hang around 178, 179 for a solid minute or so. And then it would start dropping down. I'm also going to replace my thermostat because I believe that that's actually a small block Chevy, like the older one from the Corvette. I think that's a 160 thermostat from that water pump, but it fit in this one, so I ran with it. But if I had to guess, the other one that would be made for this 5.3 LS that goes right down in there would be a lot better quality. What I'm trying to say is it probably have a lot more flow, and maybe the water's just not moving through here fast enough, or the coolant. I do use coolant. But yeah. So, sorry for rambling on, guys. The go-kart is up and running. You'll see that in another video for anybody that's interested in that. Thanks for watching. We'll get going on some fab stuff next week. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell, and probably gonna have to dig the Maverick out of the snowbank because that's parked outside right now for the room for this, because this is like my daily driver in the summer. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.